Good evening, everyone. It's me, Drive Ghost, and ever since Stone Ocean got its anime, Part 6 and Maiden Heaven have both been brought more into the spotlight of JoJo fans, given that quite a few of them are anime only. And naturally, this stand is perhaps the most powerful one we've seen thus far, excluding maybe Gold Experience Requiem. And so, it begs the question what stands can defeat it, aside from GER. But I don't necessarily believe that throughout the main parts up to part 6, not including the Steel Ball Red universe, I don't think that there are any individual stands or stand users that could defeat Maiden Heaven. Which is why I instead decided to create a team, a suicide squad to take down Pucci and his ultimate stand. So let's get into it. Also, if my voice sounds off, I'm sick. I think it's allergies. Oh, sorry about that if you saw that. I forgot to close Discord, but if I sound sick, it's because I am sick. I think it's allergies. My nose is stuffy, but let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first. Let's talk about Maiden Heaven and what its abilities are. Maiden Heaven is a stand designed by the mind of Dio with his idea of what heaven should be, or would be, which through a long complex process was brought to fruition by Enrico Pucci. Maiden Heaven's primary ability is to accelerate time itself rapidly, making non-biological things move much more quickly and advancing to the point of singularity to create a new universe. Pucci can also use the stand to gain extraordinary movement speed and reaction speed, making him incredibly difficult to hit. And due to the stand speeding up the flow of time, it also shortens the duration of time-related abilities, such as Jotaro's time stop, which was a main factor in the final battle. So, all in all, it's a pretty stacked stand. And certainly quite a difficult one to defeat, but what stands can we add to this team to take him down? Well, there's no better place to start than the man who created the concept for the stand itself. Dio Brando. Sorry about that. Discord should be disabled now. So, like I was saying, there's no better place to start off than with the man who created Maiden Heaven to begin with, or at least conceptualized it. Since Dio essentially created the stand himself, nobody understands its ability better than him. And while the acceleration would reduce his time stop, Dio is more skilled with stopping time than Jotaro was, as he practiced far more. And if his body isn't rejecting him like it was in Part 3, then he could stop time for as long as 9 seconds. Compared to Jotaro's 5, so he's going to have more time than Jotaro did. And combined with Pucci being unable to trick or manipulate him like he did with Jotaro and Jolene, nothing stopping Dio from using his limited time to go for the kill. But I still don't think that Dio on his own would be able to pull it off. Which is why it's best that the number 2 choice is King Crimson. Given the nature of how time skip works, directly allowing Diablo to alter his own fate and skip events in time, Diablo is a crucial addition to the team. While his time skip may be shortened and his Epitaph Future Sight would also be accelerated, Diablo's ability to avoid fate and move into favorable positions makes him opponent well suited to face Pucci. Though his inability to attack within a skip is a hindrance, he could still blind Pucci with his blood or use Epitaph to show his teammates his predictions, because it doesn't have to be behind his hair. Because remember, he showed Bucciarati his Epitaph predictions, so he could do that for his teammates as well. And the third choice is none other than Josuke Higashikata and his stand Crazy Diamond. But Josuke is not chosen for his combat abilities. Instead, for his stand's healing abilities. While Dio can regenerate and Diablo can avoid fate, neither are invincible and have been prone to take damage in prolonged fights. And, Dio's regeneration sometimes takes time, and sometimes requires him to drain some blood. Crazy Diamond's ability to instantly heal Josuke's allies is a very valuable asset, especially against an opponent like Maiden Heaven, which is very difficult to avoid taking damage from. Not to mention Josuke is a Joestar and a very crafty fighter, so he could still put up a fight against Pucci, just obviously not beat him. Especially with his ability to sense him through the birthmark, which, Dio would also be able to do since he has the birthmark. We're not taking, Dio being alive in this. We're not thinking too hard about that and stuff. So just roll with it. But while Pucci may be Dio's right hand, Vanilla Ice is certainly his left hand, and someone who should be considered for this. Cream is a very powerful and somewhat underrated stand hailing from late into Part 3 of the series. With its ability to destroy anything it makes contact with and move at high speed, Cream is already a generally big threat to face off against, requiring Iggy and Avdol both sacrificing themselves for Polnareff to barely win. He basically got lucky catching that dub. And also taking into account that Vanilla Ice is a vampire, thus harder for Pucci to kill without accelerating the time of day, something he could do easily, but they could just, keep the fight indoors. And, he doesn't have to be a vampire, but if he is, that's kind of a bonus for him. And it just makes him all the more threatening. But again, he doesn't need to be a vampire to hold his own, just that if he is, he has the regeneration, and Pucci has to accelerate the time of day, but given the stand speed, he could just stay within Cream. I didn't bring that up with Dio, but he actually has a method to just completely avoid that by just staying within his stand. Alright, now let's kill the hoe with Ekko's Act 3. Specifically, Act 3. Koichi and his stand certainly aren't among people's strongest stand/user lists, but at least one of his acts does have significant use against Pucci. Should Koichi manage to get within range of Pucci, he can use Act 3 Freeze to decrease his speed and mobility without even needing to make contact with Pucci or Maiden Heaven. Because remember, when he did that against Kira, he didn't need to actually, land punches or anything, he just had to get within range of him to activate the ability. And with the help of Dio's time stop, this isn't as hard as it seems either. Should they pull this off, they reduce one of Pucci's biggest advantages, his immense speed and difficulty to hit. But in line with mitigating Pucci's speed advantage, there's no better stand for the job than Notorious B.I.G. This relatively minor stand from Vento Arreo is secretly packed with the perfect ability to counter Pucci's self-acceleration. Notorious locks onto the fastest moving target within its range and moves towards it, accelerating until it's faster than the target and catches it. Since Pucci is actively accelerating himself, and it's likely that Notorious would lock onto him over the accelerated surroundings, the only downside is that their allies would need to be careful and avoid being near Notorious if Pucci isn't currently accelerating himself, because otherwise it's going to attack them. But considering in this fight that Pucci would likely be accelerating himself constantly, that's not really that big a deal. So, can this team take down Maiden Heaven? This team was handcrafted to effectively counter Maiden Heaven's abilities and work effectively against its strength, but there are... There are other factors to take into account. There is a time limit against them due to the stand accelerating the universe with Singularity Point, after which none of them really have a chance to win due to them being bound by fate, while Pucci is not. Yeah, Diablo can avoid specific moments within his fate thanks to his time skip, but I highly doubt that would be enough, especially considering that fate has a way of, basically bringing the hurt to people who avoid fate. That was the whole reason that Diablo had that, super crazy end and all that. But anyway, more stands could certainly be added to the team, but I feel this team is enough to at least give good odds at defeating Pucci and Maiden Heaven. If you think any other stands should be included, go ahead and let me know. I specifically avoided any overpowered stands like Gold Experience Requiem or Bites the Dust, which could be used against them. And I didn't include any stands from the Steel Ball Run universe, part 7, 8, and 9. But if you think that there are any more stands that could be added, go ahead and comment them below. I'm happy to have a discussion about that, but that'll be the end of the video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.